Welcome back, Nerd Squad. When you think of the origins of the Green Lanterns, it's a little spooky. We've got aliens and alien power rings coming from outer space, choosing Earthlings, and often making them superheroes, without them having actually much say or choice in the matter. Granted, if the right people are chosen, this shouldn't be an issue, as they should slide right into their role as a hero, no problem. But oftentimes, this isn't exactly the case. Let's not forget that Rayner was an out-of-work freelance graphic artist who was sleeping on his ex-girlfriend's couch when he was chosen. Granted, he did turn out to be a pretty great Green Lantern, but he kind of seemed like a weird pick initially. Or how about Jessica Cruz, who suffers from severe anxiety and PTSD, and struggles to leave her house? Also kind of a strange pick. Though, I do love Jessica Cruz and her story as a Green Lantern, but I'm just saying, it feels like the selection process isn't always as perfect as advertised. And with granting someone so much power, there are lots of opportunities for things to go wrong, like potentially getting possessed by an outer space fear demon named Parallax. Today we'll be taking a look at some of the things that have gone wrong for the Green Lanterns through their alternates, as we count down the top 10 scary Green Lantern alternates. Part 2. That's right, Part 2. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out Part 1 of this list for even more scary alternate stories. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10. Bizarro Green Lantern. This version of Green Lantern comes to us from the Bizarro Super Friends team, who actually appeared to be a Yellow Lantern as opposed to a Green Lantern. I suppose yellow is like the opposite? Due to his inverted morals, this alternate Green Lantern ended up helping to cause more grief for the Super Friends, while actually trying to work alongside and kind of help the team, because, you know, Bizarro. Fortunately, the Super Friends were able to trick the Bizarro Super Friends into actually being helpful, and after they were celebrated by the citizens they'd helped save for their efforts, they decided to leave, returning to Bizarro World from whence they came. Celebrating is, after all, not really considered good to a Bizarro alternate. It is not fun. It's like spitting in someone's face when you say thank you to a Bizarro hero. Villain? Hero villain? What do we call them? Bizarro hero? They're trying to be heroes. Number 9. DCEU Jon Stewart. This version of Jon is not so scary in terms of what he looks like or his alignment, but is more scary in the sense of what he has been through. Jon Stewart in the Justice League animated series found himself wrongfully accused of destroying an entire planet, Ajuris 4, and its populace. He fell in love with Hawkgirl, only to be betrayed and backstabbed by her, and then later discovered his own future, where he and Hawkgirl would end up becoming the parents of Warhawk. All of this is pretty scary stuff if you put yourself in Jon's shoes. Though really one of the scariest things is that first point, him wrongfully being accused of genocide. Fortunately, he had his friends on the Justice League there fighting to prove his innocence, even if he was ready to accept the guilt and give up his life to take the death penalty. Number 8. New Order Jon Stewart. The comic Nightwing The New Order explores the future world of year 2040, where Nightwing worked to eliminate all the world's superpowers and succeeded in removing 90% of them. As such, only a few heroes remain and are even legally allowed to have powers. One of the few is Green Lantern Jon Stewart, who now works for the government. I don't know about you, but I always feel like government-regulated superheroes are kind of scary and kind of a bad idea. I don't know if anyone should actually be allowed to wield the power of a super, save for the person who has themselves that power, and therefore, in theory, should best understand them and how to use them. But then I guess we have supervillains, so I don't know. Who should decide who wields power? Number 7. Yellow Lantern. So after we got a childlike look at what a Bizarro version of Jon Stewart would be like, we got a more grown-up and established version of a Bizarro Green Lantern, often referred to as just that, or as Yellow Lantern, with one of his more recent appearances being in the 2018 Justice League Volume Issue 26. Yellow Lantern, or Bizarro Green Lantern as he is sometimes known, is a member of the Unjustice League of Un-America. In Issue 26, this version of Green Lantern only makes a brief appearance, standing with the other not heroes, other villains, belonging to Earth 29 in the Hall of Heroes. I gotta work on my Bizarro speak. What do we call them? Not heroes? I am not hero? I don't know. But you can rest assured that I'm sure this alternate and his team will likely be back again at some point as foes of the Justice League. or as misunderstood allies. Number 6. Jade Nova. Jade Nova is Frankie Rayner and is part of the Amalgam universe. She appears to be part Green Lantern with the lantern symbols that adorn her and her ring, which she can use to make constructs, and part Fire, or Frankie Ray, with her ability to transform into green flames. Her name could allude to a combination of Frankie Ray and Kyle Rayner, though some think she could also be inspired by or be some combination of Alan Scott's and Thorne's daughter, Jade. The part of her that is Marvel inherited could be that she is considered a mutant in the Marvel world. Jade Nova was a prisoner of Mephistopheles until she was freed by Dr. Strangefate, who she then became indebted to. Number 5. White Lantern. This White Lantern is Kyle Rayner, and you might be thinking, but wait a minute. Aren't White Lanterns normally the best of the best? Or at least supposed to be that? How could this be scary? Well, this version of Kyle Rayner comes to us from Green Lantern New Guardians Future's End, and is driven insane after being imbued with the life equation. Rayner becomes obsessed with fixing the universe, making it pure, by forcing everyone to be obedient followers of the white light. He killed most of the Templar Guardians and Carol Ferris, but in the end realized that he had actually lost his mind and decided to just go away and become one with the Source, finding a successor for his White Lantern ring before he passed on. Sometimes you just gotta realize when you're being crazy and be like, maybe it's time for me to go back to the Source and just chill. Number 4. DC Legends Kyle Rayner. The stories told in the game DC Legends often mimic the stories of the comics, while sometimes deviating from the original source material somewhat to tell their own stories as well. So it's unsurprising that one of the stories that the game decided to tackle was that of Kyle Rayner becoming Parallax, which also happens in the game and in the comics. This alternate version of Kyle Rayner now wears a costume similar to his own but mashed up with Hal Jordan's Parallax outfit. He also has a thick white streak down the middle of his hair, like how Jordan's gray temples were later retconned to be explained by Parallax slowly growing stronger within him, feeding on Jordan's fear. Sinestro is the one to blame in the game, like in the comics, for this transformation of Kyle Rayner. Fortunately, fellow Green Lanterns Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, and Jon Stewart helped to save the day and free Kyle from Parallax's influence. Number 3. Power Ring. Power Ring is the alternate version of Green Lantern belonging to the Antimatter Universe's Crime Syndicate of America. We don't know his true identity, but being that he pretty much uses his power ring for whatever he wants as opposed to any sort of just or emotional cause, he just goes by the name Power Ring. Within Power Ring's power ring is the being known as the First Lantern, Volthoom. Volthoom often talks to Power Ring, which Power Ring finds useful, but annoying. He can use the ring to create all kinds of ridiculous constructs. Number 2. Quaman. What could be scarier than the Antimatter Universe? That's where this alternate Green Lantern is said to hail from as well, being the antimatter version of Hal Jordan. The Quaman is also known as the Dread Emissary of the Reversoverse, the Mad Lantern, and Weaponeer 666. Abin Sur of Earth 20 is the one who somehow accidentally allowed them to enter into the current reality in the series, the Green Lantern. This being is just terrifying to look at and is certainly a very vilified version of Earth Zero's Hal Jordan. Not someone I want to mess with or run into in a dark alley. Number 1. The Ring of Evil and Nazi Lanterns. This tale comes to us from the Elseworlds, so yeah, you know, it's out there. In the 1990s Green Lantern series, in annual issue number 3, we find a world where Nazis are in control and created a power ring of evil that appears to contain a demon. In this reality, Jon Stewart fights as part of the Green Arrow's rebellion, aiming to become a Green Arrow, which in this reality is kind of like the main continuity Green Lantern, but with arrows instead. They have a very similar oath. Guy Gardner in this reality is a jerk, surprise surprise, who continues to stay loyal to the Nazis, and Hal is somewhere kind of in between, being given the power ring and originally wanting to give in to its evil until his old flame, Carol Ferris, urges him to fight against the evil within it. In the end, Guy kills Hal, and Jon Stewart ends up taking the ring and bending it to his will, fighting against the evil within it, and finally purging the ring of evil for good. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad. I hope you enjoyed this list and you learned lots about some more obscure and kind of weird, scary alternate versions of Green Lanterns. Who is your favorite Green Lantern? Who is your favorite alternate? Which lantern do you wish had more alternates of them? And would you like to see more scary Green Lantern tales pop up in the dark multiverse as it expands? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're on your way down there, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you love Green Lanterns of all kinds as much as we do. And smash that subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay in the know with all of our nerd content. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight, reminding you, as always, to stay nerdy, YouTube.